Yeah, we're in the Aldermanic Chamber and via Zoom. Meeting link can be found on the agenda. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. If you're participating via Zoom, please state your presence, reason for not attending the meeting in person, and whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman at Large Laurie Wilshire.
I'm here.
Alderman John Sullivan.
Here.
Alderwoman at Large Shoshana Kelly.
I am here. I'm participating via Zoom due to my son and I not feeling well, and he's the only one in the room with me.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Ernest Jetty.
Here.
Alderman at Large Michael B. O'Brien is here in the flesh. And our chairman, Alderman Richard A. Dowd.
And newly appointed Alderman June Karen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we have a quorum. John Griffin is not going to be with us this evening. Rose is still on.
Oh, yeah, hang on, catching up with the writing. Also in attendance is Alderman Ben Clemens. And Alderman Clee.
And?
I don't even bother anymore.
Yeah, I know, hang on, I'm writing.
You're not the only one. Everybody misses it.
I did
Everybody
too.
does.
And Alderman Theobald.
Okay.
Anybody else? I think we got everybody. Okay.
All right, the first item is public comment. I see no one in the chamber. Is anyone online that wants to speak on anything that is on the agenda? Seeing no one. Communications,
There are none?
unfinished business,
There is none.
new business resolutions.
Before us this evening is R-22-045, relative to the supplemental appropriation of $50,294.73 of fiscal year 2022 unanticipated revenue into Fund 7024, Opiate Abatement Expendable Trust Fund. Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to recommend final passage.
All right, this resolution takes money that was given to us by the state and puts it into the opioid abatement expendable trust funds so it can be used. Is there any questions? Yes, Alderman Jetty?
Thank you. So I understand, that this is proceeds from, settlement that was made in the litigation against the opioid manufacturers. And as I understand it, we're just taking this money and putting it in this expendable trust fund for use to be determined later. Does anyone know how the opioid abatement expendable trust fund is being used currently?
Rose Evans on. I think this expendable trust fund is because we get monies from various sources to fight the opioid crisis, and they put it in this one account so it has a place they can spend it from. Rose, did you want to address Alderman Jetty's concern? I think you're on mute.
And I'm sorry. Technologically challenged today. Yes, as Alderman Dowd explained, these funds are put into this trust fund. Not quite sure exactly, but it is opioid related, the purpose of the trust fund. I could certainly go look it up like right now and get back to you in a minute what the exact wording is in the legislation. We have not spent any money from this fund. As I mentioned at the public hearing, this expendable trust fund was created in fiscal year 21, and the state anticipates that the city will be receiving these opioid litigation funds for many years. I want to say it's 25 to 30 years.
Okay, also
Would you like me?
Oh, go ahead.
Would you like me to go pull the legislation that created the trust fund and get back to you?
Alderman Jetty, do you want her to do that? Or have you got Bobby Bagley online too? She may have further insight.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I don't mean to make a lot of extra work for anyone. I'm just concerned that, you know, I'm in favor of this. I just want to make sure that we use this money as soon as possible for the purpose for which it was intended.
So I think because it's in that specific expendable trust, it can only be used for the opioid crisis. I would say that Director Bagley, she has her hand up, so I'm sure she has ideas on how we can use it.
Please.
Director Bagley?
Yes, thank you, Chairman Dow. The funds that will be coming in from the trust fund will be used to mitigate what we're seeing with the opioid problem that we're having right now. And we actually have a couple of applications that have come in from some of the partnering organizations that have put forth proposals to use this funding to support the work that they do to prevent overdoses. And those proposals have been reviewed by a committee that the information will then be presented to the mayor once he's back. We received 4 applications from community organizations about a month ago, and we're just waiting to present that information before the mayor so that some of the funds can be expended. The expectation is that dollars will be added into the funds, just as Rose mentioned, as the settlements continue to clear out over the next 18 years. And so that the fund, the account that has been set up is an open account that funds will be entered into that as they are awarded to the city of Nashua as well as to the state. There's 15% that goes to the towns that actually are part of that litigation as well. So there'll be money that'll be coming in, and our expectation is to spend it through the applications that we receive from other partnering organizations to prevent overdoses in the city of Nashua and in our region.
Thank you, Director Bagley. Any follow-up questions, Alderman Jennings?
No, thank you. Thank you very
All
much.
set. Oh, Alderman Sullivan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to Director Bagley. Will either this committee or the board at large hear back on who was awarded the money through the mayor?
Director Bagley?
I do believe so, yes.
Okay.
Thank
Any
you.
other? All set, Alderman Sullivan?
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Karen.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan.
Yes.
Alderman at Large Shoshana Kelly.
Yes.
Hey, I'll count that vote too. Alderman Ernest Jettie.
Yes.
Alderman at Large Michael O'Brien votes yea. And Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yeas. Motion carries.
Okay. Next resolution, Alderman O'Brien.
Mr. Chairman, again before us this evening is R22-046, relative to transfer of $4,500 from Department 194 contingency account into 70100 general contingency to Department 103 legal accounting classification 51 salary and wages. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to recommend final passage.
Okay, is there any questions on this? Alderman Clee?
Thank you, and thank you for indulging me. St. Andrews has been in a lot of need, as I'm sure Alderman O'Brien has spoken over and over again.
That's not this
Oh,
resolution.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one. I jump ahead. I apologize. Yes, pause on it and I'll come back to it.
Hold that thought. Alderman
I'm
Jennings?
still on vacation.
Yeah,
Thank you.
could someone explain what exactly this is doing?
Rose? I think in the legislation, it says that there are increased costs to the revenue, to the salaries in the legal department, and this is covering the difference.
That is correct, Alderman Dow.
Sorry, I didn't know if you... Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman June Karen,
Yes.
Alderman at-large Wiltshire,
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan,
Yes.
Alderwoman at-large Shoshana Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman Jettie,
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien votes yes, Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
That's 7 yeas, motion carries.
Okay. Next resolution?
Also before us this evening is R-22-047, relative to the supplemental appropriations of $75,000 of fiscal year 2022 unanticipated revenue into Fund 7058, Park Rehabilitation Expendable Trust Fund. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to recommend final passage. And may I speak to my motion?
Yes.
As those of you around the Horseshoe know, I've been working on this for the past several years. Alderman Karen can say probably the last by her previous employment, when was the last time St. Andrews was repaired? Received a lot of inquiries from the people of Ward 9. And so I brought it up, and I've been, bringing this, championing it forward with Mr. Nick Casciano when he was in charge of Park and Recreations. Since then, we've had 3 directors. They all told me the same thing, and unfortunately with us, nobody ever really budgeted it. And in this year's budget, there was no real money really put aside for it until all of a sudden we found out in infrastructure that we did come across $50,000. So the $50,000, which was unanticipated revenue that did come into the city, we decided that if we could turn it around, in effect, the only park that has, and I'm talking about a top park, that has not been touched by the city. It's been a long time in coming. Patience is a virtue, but with the help of a former alderman, Harriet Gathright, she kept it in the forefront. With the new fight with Alderman Sullivan, has kept it in the forefront. So I'm very happy to say, for passage of this, we will fix our last remaining top park that is in dire need. I think if I had grown up in Nashua, I probably would have played on that equipment, but when I was taught. But it definitely needs to be replaced in safety and other things, so I'm glad to have this done. So I hope you support me with this motion. Thank you.
Alderman Clee, and then Alderman Sullivan.
Okay.
Well, you would have asked before, so.
I know, but I was going to he's the ward alderman there, so please.
No, please.
The comment that I wanted to make was much of what Alderman O'Brien had said. A lot of work has been gone into it. I know Alderman O'Brien has been fighting the good fight, and when Alderwoman Harriet Gathright did not win her election, she called me and said to me, the only thing I'm going to ask is that St. Andrews is given the due that it deserves. I know she'd worked very hard on it, as I'm sure that Alderman Sullivan has as well since he's taken over, but it's long due, and I agree 100%. I think this is something that we should all, when the vote comes to the board and so on, should be unanimous. Thank you.
Alderman Sullivan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am in agreement with the sentiment, and this is great for Ward 9. It is a park that is in dire need of attention. It still has an aluminum slide, which I don't know how many parks in the city have that. I think I went down one maybe when I was 4. So to speak to that, I do know that the tree work in the park is queued up and ready to go. I've seen plans. I was delighted to see how this was funded very creatively through the Office of Economic Development, and I was thrilled to hear that this legislation was getting put in. And I could see, obviously, from the endorsements from the board that this should pass, but I wanted to give it my full-throated endorsement as well.
Alderman Tebow?
Thank you, Chairman Dowd. I want to thank Alderman O'Brien for getting this done because it was, I'd coached there for many, many years at Doobie Field, which is right there. And National Cal Ripken, when I was president, we had to keep the field. We put on new dugouts, roof dugouts, and we and then them today keep the field looking nice, but the little park that all the little kids would play on that couldn't play in the baseball games would be hanging out watching their siblings, and probably 1 million kids fell off that slide at some point. It was dangerous. And we always fought trying to get any tree work done over there because, a lot of work. Now, the next thing is, can we get lights there? But I just want to thank you guys and thank all the aldermen that have been working on it to try to get that done. Thank you.
Any other comments? Alderman Karen?
So it was in the 90s, early 90s, that park was closed when we used to have playground supervisors. That slide, probably Alderman Dowd has gone up and down it since he was a little boy. But we did try working on it. Nick Cargiano, the superintendent of parks, and I tried to get funding for that to be fixed because we thought it was important because it was near a ball field. And so when I was reading about it, I thought this was great as far as lights. But even if you put security lights there eventually, I think that would be a great help. There is a lot better playground equipment out there for us to put that's a lot safer, and the kids like it even better. It's not a very big playground, but it's something that the neighborhood kids really, really enjoy. So I'm totally 100% in support of that.
Alderman Wilshire?
Thank you. When I first ran for office, I don't want to say how long ago, the reason I ran is because I lived across the street from a park, Lions Field, over on Marshall and Ald Street. It's one of those things that's in your neighborhood. That's where people live. You want to go out after dinner and take the kids to let them swing or whatever. So when I was the Ward 7 alderman, I worked with then George Crombie to fix up every park in Ward 7 except the one at the end of Mass Ave.
Yeah.
That's the only one we didn't do when I was the Ward 7 alderman, because I think parks, they're in your neighborhood. They are your neighbors. And I was unhappy with that Lions Field being my neighbor in the shape it was in. So that was my priority as a Ward 7 alderman, was to get the parks fixed up, and we did a pretty good job. So I will support this for sure.
I'll just say that 2, 3, maybe 4-year time flies. On Thornton Road, there's a tot park, and Nick Gangiano, we upgraded the park. They bought some equipment from overseas. It's not IKEA, but something that will last a lifetime. And that park is used all the time, every day that it's nice weather. There are kids there playing, and they just having a blast. So this is very important for the young kids. So, anyone else? All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman June Karen?
Yes.
Alderman at-large Laurie Wilshire?
Yes.
Alderman John Sullivan?
Yes.
Alderman at-large Shoshana Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Ernest Jettie?
Yes.
Alderman at-large Michael O'Brien votes yea, and our chairman, Alderman Richard Dowd.
Yes.
Okay, 7 yeas, motion carries.
Okay. New business ordinances.
Before us this evening, we have one, is O-22-019, changing the downtown improvements funding plan. Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to recommend final passage.
Okay, I think Alderman Clemens wants to speak to it.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity. So I know, people probably have a lot of questions on this, but what I'm going to ask the committee is to table this, if you will. There's some information that I would still like to get out to the committee. The other thing, more importantly, is that the Downtown Improvement Committee has not yet met to discuss this. And so, in fairness to them, I think they should have the opportunity to discuss this. It was going to be in front of them in July, but that meeting got canceled as this was the only order of business and people were on vacation and it was going to be hard to get a quorum. So, so hopefully at the August meeting of the Downtown Improvement Committee, which will be the second Friday in August, which unfortunately is after our only August meeting, a full board meeting, the committee will meet, discuss this. I'll be able to get some information to bring back here, and then hopefully at another date, we can discuss this with their recommendation and some more information to answer people's questions.
Would someone on the committee make a motion to table? Alderman Bryan?
Well, first, Mr. Chairman, I made the original motion to recommend final passage, but Mr. Chairman, I would like to amend my motion. And my new motion would be, is to recommend that this 022-019 be tabled under the advice of Alderman Clements.
The motion on the floor is to table our 22019. Any discussion?
Not debatable.
Not
Oh, yeah,
debatable.
sorry, you're right. It's late. Okay, would you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Alderman June Claren,
Yes.
Alderman at-large Laurie Wilshire,
Yes.
Alderman John Sullivan,
Yes.
Alderwoman at-large Shoshana Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman Ernest Jettie,
Yes.
Alderman at-large Michael O'Brien votes yea. Our Chairman, Alderman Richard Dowd.
Yes.
Yes, motion carries the table.
All right, that's our 22019 table. General discussion? Seeing none. Public comment? For anyone that wishes public comment? Seeing no one and no one in the chamber, we'll move on. Remarks by Alderman. Alderman Sullivan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome back, June Karen.
Thank you.
That's it.
Okay, any other remarks by Alderman Cleve?
I'd like to echo that. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Are you bringing candy?
I was just going to say, the candy's already in the mailbox. Oh, he went in and got some.
Alderman Wilshire?
Thank you. I had meant to bring this up at the special Board of Aldermen meeting, so I will put out a memo about it tomorrow, but effective August 1st, we are no longer going to be entertaining Zoom.
Right. Alderman Clements?
On that, can you clarify, is that for everyone or is that for the public?
Well, the only reason we got Zoom in the first place is because of the pandemic. What I'd like to do is to be able to have presentations by city staff so they don't have to be here, you know, from 5 o'clock till 7 o'clock and then half the night. But I think also, you know, when someone's sick, they could call in and do Zoom. But other than that, I mean, I think it's gotten its use, and I think we need to go back to in-person, get her done kind of meetings, so.
Alderman Clements?
Thank you. I would fully support what you just described.
Anyone else?
Yep.
Oh. I saw Alderman Jettie first.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Alderman Jettie?
Yeah, thank you. So I would like us to discuss that and consider it. I think you may have good reasons for it. I haven't, I'd like to hear you expound on what those reasons might be. I personally find that, I know Zoom was, came to us because of our dealing with COVID, and the governor's executive order allowed it. But I found it to be, advantageous. For cannot attend a meeting or they're traveling or whatever, this gives them an opportunity to continue to participate. But also it gives the public an opportunity to participate in the meetings, to voice, their comments. And I know sometimes, the public says things that we don't like hearing, but, I think, all in all, I think it's, before we allowed Zoom, very few people came to our meetings, and it was only on very items that sparked the public interest, and people for or against, would come. But generally speaking, there was, little participation. And what Zoom has done is it allows people to be able to participate without having to travel to City Hall.
Alderman Jettie, I don't want to cut you off, but we're debating something. She just wanted to make an announcement. We're going to talk about it when she brings it up at the full meeting, so it's not really on the agenda for this meeting, so I don't want to cut you off, but I don't think we ought to have a long discussion on the pros and cons until we have that action come before us.
Okay, I thought she was making the announcement that is August 1st, this would be it. I didn't know she was, that it was going to be a subject. I was just making sure. I would like us to be able to discuss it and make a decision as a group.
Because I don't think this small group, can make a decision for the full board.
Full board, correct.
So,
Alderman Wiltshire?
so I would like to then, I agree that it should be the full board. Take it up at our next full board meeting. I'll put out a memo, and I'd like to have a discussion and have it voted on or whatever we want to do at our August meeting. I think, we've had trouble with a lot of things with Zoom. And Michaela, the wonderful person who's been doing these meetings, is going back to school. So, finding someone else to do it, is it going to be a challenge? It's been good to have, but it's been not so good to have sometimes too. I think we get more participation from the public, but the public are always welcome to come to our meetings. So we can vet this a little bit more at our next meeting, full board meeting.
Thank you.
Your point's well taken.
All right. There's nothing else? Alderman O'Brien?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Motion is to,
No, I'm good. No.
sorry.
I'm good. Let them do what they want, that's fine. It's not my meeting.
You forget.
It's not my meeting. I'm not part of this committee.
Yeah, and you're gonna have plenty of time to discuss it, but,
You didn't know what I was gonna discuss, but okay. It's fine.
all right. Motion is to adjourn. Please call the roll.
Alderman June Karen,
Yes.
Alderman at-large Laurie Wilshire,
Yes?
Alderman John Sullivan,
Yes.
Alderwoman at-large Shoshana Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman Ernest Jettie,
Yes.
Alderman at-large Michael O'Brien votes yes, our chairman.
Yes.
Okay, Richard Dowd, yes, that's 7 yeas. Motion carries.
We're adjourned at 8:52 PM. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.